It's November 24, 2022. My name is Jimmy Van, and this is KYN Live. My guest apparently really likes cheese baskets. He thinks we're all filthy, naughty, illegal streamers, and he uses an alarm to wake up at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Must be nice. He covers combat sports and pro wrestling for CBS Sports, and he's an interviewer for ET Canada. This is Shakiel Mahjouri. Shaq, how are you, man?
Good, Jimmy. I can tell you've done an abundance of research. So you're only scratching the surface of my worst qualities, but I'm glad it's starting to get through to the audience.
Just the surface. Yeah, I want to tell everybody this was a shit show getting this going today. Technical difficulties all over the place. That's why I currently look like the guy from Beetlejuice when they sprinkle the stuff over his head. That's what I look like right now. Shaq looks like Andre the Giant.
Yeah, I got the neck beard going, so you can tell it's been a busy week. But
yeah, tech issues, but we're going to get through it because that's what we do. And thanks for filling in. American Thanksgiving today. Americans are basically like gone for 4 days. Gone. You know what I mean?
It's a way bigger deal down there. Like,
it's not even close. It's not even close. I like, with all due respect, and I can say this because a lot of them are my friends. They just want to eat and play and watch football. That's all. They don't give a shit about we're so thankful for no. Eat and play and watch football. That's basically what it's all about for them. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to KYN 7 of the top news stories of the week that are stupid, funny, or weird. I'm going to get your reactions, and I'll ask you questions along the way. Shaq said to me, do I need to prep for this? And I said, just bring your sense of humor. And he said, oh, you're in trouble now. So
for better or for worse. We'll find out, I guess.
Well, I think that you're going to be perfect for this because I can feel it, you know? You're going to be good. Guys, get in your super chats if you want to get your question or statement read on the air. And if you don't want to donate through YouTube or if you can't catch the show live, go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution anytime you want, and we'll read your question or statement on the air. And Shaq, I say this every single week. It is stunning how many stupid news stories exist in this world. And I always have to like try to whittle down to 7. Oh. Because there's so many, and they're real. I vet them, and I got 7 good ones. So are you ready to go?
Yeah, for my Reddit perusers, r/NotTheOnion is my favorite subreddit. Like, we've gotten to the point where it's not just parody news. Life is the parody, right? So I'm stoked. Let's dig into it.
Yep, and I'm not going to promote a competitive Reddit. Going to stick with knowyournews.com. Let's go with story number 7, reported by WCAX News 3. Okay, all I got to say for this one is America. That's it, Shaq. So, police in South Burlington, Vermont, they asked the public for help identifying a man that they saw in a mall parking lot, and he was carrying 2 swords and a gun. Security guards, they spotted him on surveillance, and officers rushed to the scene, but they weren't able to find him. So the guy ended up contacting the police because his picture showed up in the media from the parking lot. So he contacted the police. Shaq, what happened next?
Ooh, there's a lot of ways. It's like a choose your own adventure. Okay. With the ridiculous rate that people are getting swatted in their own homes, I want to say this Good Samaritan did not luck out with the police.
So basically what happened was he had just bought that stuff at the mall, and he was only in the parking lot because he was getting ready to go home. That's all it was. We have a picture of him that they actually put on the news. Check this out. They put that picture of him on the news. So he bought those swords at a store in the mall. That gun is actually a BB gun that looks like a pistol. He bought that at the mall. A store employee confirmed that he got that at the mall. And that is it. That's it. He didn't do shit. He wasn't looking to like kill anybody. That's all he did. But the world's on high alert now, so that's what happened. That's what happened, man. What happened to surveillance? Like, where's the store surveillance? Where's the mall surveillance? What kind of a Bobunk mall is this, Shaq?
The shocking thing to me, and I guess, you know, I get to be up here in Canada sort of throwing stones, but it's like when you can walk into a Walmart and purchase yourself a weapon, this is where we're choosing to sort of do our due diligence and be extra vigilant here. I mean, granted, those BB guns look pretty authentic these days. In fact, it's gotten to the point where even when I like see one of those, what are those ones you get at the dollar store? You put the little firecrackers in them and light them off. Those things rule. Those things rule. And I always want to get one, but I can't. I'm a grown man. I've got the neck beard in full effect, and this is the other issue. The guy, if he walked in there, groomed up a bit, maybe a little hair gel, put on a nice shirt, I don't think we'd be having the same conversation. But
Maybe. So you think they're selective based on aesthetics?
I want to be careful with with how I paint people. Let me just say he does not look like he did not come in he did not come in looking his sharpest, grabbing those katanas. So
All right, fair enough. Well, every story that I do, I always want to ask a question that's somehow related to it. And so here's the question that I'm going to ask you. Have you ever been accused of doing anything where you were able to successfully prove your innocence? And it could be anything, plagiarism. Ooh. It could be, I don't know if you have a sibling, maybe you like took a candy bar that was theirs. Has there any time when you were accused of doing something and you proved your innocence?
Okay, so I want to clarify the nature of this question. Was I really innocent, or did I navigate my way around the crime that I may have committed?
Okay, you know what? Either sounds like a great story, so I'll go with either one.
So I make it a point. I have my full license. I am legally allowed to drive with as long as I'm under the guidelines for blood alcohol level. But as a rule of thumb, I know that if I ever say I've had a single drink, even hours before, and I get to a roadblock, they're going to ask you to step out of your car. They're going to do this whole thing. And I'm not really a fan of it. So I always have, anytime, if I've had one drink over the course of an evening and I'm driving home, I always have some sort of decoy in my car. When I had knee surgery, I put the crutches in the car. So the officer asked, "Did you have anything to drink tonight?" I'd say, "Oh man, it's not really fun to party on one leg." Or when I went over to my friend's house and had the PlayStation with me, I put it to the front and I say, "Oh, we were just having a gaming night." And he says, "Oh, that sounds like a nice sober time." So always have something. Now, if you had too much to drink, please do not drive. But if you want to save yourself 10, 15 minutes with the officer who's just trying to do their job, just have something prepared. You always got to have a story ready. You know what I mean?
So what good Canadian Shaq just said is that if you're ever looking for a way out of having a conversation about how much you had to drink, just put something on the side seat as a distraction, lead the conversation in that direction, and then maybe you can get on your way. That's basically what he just said.
Okay, in my defense, at least from what I've been told by friends in the legal system, those roadblocks are not ethical. You can't just stop someone for no cause, but they set them up, and I think as a society, we generally agree that, it's better to keep drunk drivers off the road, so we all comply. All I'm saying is I'm not drunk driving. I'm trying to get home. Why not make my life a little bit easier?
Gotcha. I mean, if you had a pint, not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? If you had a pint. But I'm just going to leave it at that and move on to story number 6. So story number 6, reported by Lad Bible, there's a company in Bulgaria, and they have created a product that is supposedly for single people to provide them with emotional support and comfort. Shaq, any idea what this product is that they created for single people to get emotional support?
Ooh. All right. Is it physically tangible? Is it physical? Can I touch it?
Yes, you can touch it.
Oh, that actually makes sense. Ooh. Is it? Can I get 3 hints here?
Oh man, is this a game show? Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can touch it. Is it designed to mimic a living thing?
Sort of. Sort of.
It must be so obscure. Dang. The trickery here is you're not gonna put this. It's not gonna be like some sort of body pillows. And I also don't know what the rating for this show is. I'm trying to mind.
Oh, you can say whatever the hell you want.
Ideas.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
I want to put it out there that I was far too young to capitalize on this, but the idea of like a USB intimacy toy crossed my mind years before it ever came into development. But I don't think that's what I'm a smart guy.
Was that one of these personal desire type things? I wish I had this.
It just made sense to me. It just made long distance relationship, right? You still want to be able to foster healthy.
Too much information. So
I don't know, man. Let's go. Oh man.
All right, I'm gonna end. I'm gonna. Is it a what?
Is it a cat?
It is a human-sized emotional support teddy bear. Check out these pictures of this thing.
Whoa!
They
That's
call it the Loving Bear Puffy. Is 5'7" tall, weighs about 7 pounds. It's shaped like a human male, but it has the head of a teddy bear, which is kind of weird. It can wear size large to XL clothing, but they ship it naked, so you can dress it however way you want. I don't know, man. How successful do you think a teddy bear with a human body would be in getting people through those lonely nights, Shaq?
okay. I don't want to judge, but I feel like the model they used for that teddy bear is not an accurate reflection of the people who are probably using this product. Um,
Oh, is that
that's
right? So you don't think a beautiful young woman is probably buying the grown whatever that thing is teddy bear?
if she's focusing on me time and has no patience for the men and just still wants that support, I get it. But I feel like there's enough suitors out there for snuggle time that she's probably not as in desperate need of this as someone like me and my neckbeard might be. Yeah, that's weird. It's a little too lifelike. The teddy bear head I'm cool with. It's the feet. The feet kind of freak me out.
It's got hands and everything.
It's got no. Listen, if it gets you through the day, it gets you through the day. I don't want to tell you how to have an abundant and full life.
Sure, teach his own.
Yeah, I just feel like a body pillow can accomplish the same effect without. I don't want you replacing human connection for teddy bears. You know what I mean? Maybe get something that reminds you that this isn't a person. Because if you don't look at the head and you just look down, you might convince yourself after a while that I'm totally in this consensual loving relationship with a person in my bed right now.
So aside from the thing you talked about earlier, some USB pleasure toy that you had an idea for, aside from that, now that you're an adult, do you have a stuffy or another object that you turn to for emotional support?
Yes, my fiance and my dog. There are stuffed animals in the room. I do have my childhood teddy bear. It doesn't often accompany me. The thing that drives my fiance nuts is I have a weird pillow obsession. I like one, obviously, behind my head. I like one under my legs for back support. I like to have one to cover my face with in case it's bright. So at all times, there's like at least 3 pillows on the bed. And sometimes, my fiance, I'm a heat conductor. So sometimes she's looking for like a little body regulation and she's trying to swim through pillows that have sort of been dispersed across the bed trying to reach me.
Fascinating. So you like to sleep with less oxygen than you might need. You got a pillow over your face.
Yeah, it's like an evolutionary thing where I used to always sleep with the TV on, so I need something to block out the light. And at this point, I just can't. It's probably not good for your neck.
They make just like a shade thing that you can just wear over your eyes, so you don't have to put a pillow over your face.
You gotta take it off. I don't know. We all have our weird childhood comforts that have, for better or worse, sort of followed us into adulthood.
All right, reminder, guys, get in your super chat to have your question or statement read on the air, or go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution at any time, and we'll read your question or statement on the next show. All right, story number 5. I'll wait till you get the visual of this one. Reported by India.com. So a video has gone viral of a man's morning routine getting his children to school. Shaq, what is so unique about the video that went viral?
Man. Listen, I suck at trivia. Does anyone ever get these right?
Yeah, sometimes they do. Yeah, now, granted, I try to find stuff that's absolutely absurd and outlandish.
Okay, well then let's just shoot for the stars here. How many kids?
If I tell you that, that's kind of part of the fun of the answer.
Okay.
I
want to say all the kids ride on his back and he crawls on all 4s to school.
You're very close. He has got 9 kids and takes them to school on a bike. Check out this video courtesy of Jakey Yadev on Twitter. Look at this.
Whoa.
So look at that. That is an accident waiting to happen. He's got a little one. See the little one there on the front. Then he's got the one on the front's maybe 3, maybe. And then he's got one standing up there behind him, maybe 4 years. Like, look at this. That's an accident waiting to happen, but it's also creative. What do you think? Do you consider that creative? Do you consider it stupid? It's probably out of necessity, right?
So that's what I was going to say. If anything, I want to commend that father for making sure that his kids are getting the education he needs. Now, if some brain trauma comes with that, it means to an end. You can't really be helped. if you can afford to maybe get a second bike, a third
Right.
bike down the line, you could kind of convoy, spread out the love, get some of the older kids to help. But hey, man, soon enough, those children will be in school learning how not to ride a bike. So
Possible. I mean, like you said, I mean, he's probably doing what he has to do. You think maybe he could just hitch anything with wheels to the back of that thing? Like anything with wheels? Maybe borrow a cow or something? I don't know. I'm just trying to help the guy out a little bit. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been crammed into a small space with too many damn people?
That's a good question. Miserably. We as a kid, I'd like to like tuck into the corner between couches and just be off my own little world. But as an adult, we were on our way to a music festival. My friend who was supposed to drive, her car broke down, and so she had to borrow her dad's. Now, this thing was rather snug, and there were 5 of us in one car with enough camping supplies and food to last 3 days. So no one's feet were touching the ground. Our knees were all up in our chest the whole time. We're one car accident away from just like combining our bottom and top halves together. I will say that was a test of friendship, because I already get car sick. I already don't like being in small spaces for long periods of time. I don't like other people for long periods of time, and there was no room. If there was ever a test of enduring friendship, it was 8 hours without your feet touching the floor of the car.
Fascinating. And you got through? Are you still friends with these people today?
For the most part, yeah.
Did that ride have anything to do with changing anything?
There are probably patterns that emerged later on. I'd like to think we often think of friendships as either you are or you're not, but I like to think of it sort of as a scale. Sometimes you're more friends with someone, sometimes you're less friends with someone.
I'm with you. That is part of life. That's part of life. All right, let's move on to story number 4. This one was posted on Facebook. All right, you said you hate it when you get like a trivia type question, so this is kind of along those lines. So we've done stories on this podcast before about the Guinness Book of World Records. They got records for everything. I'm talking everything. One was recently broken. Now I will give you a hint. The one that was broken involves an article of clothing and speed. So my question, Shaq, what do you think this Guinness Book of World Records record was involving an article of clothing and speed?
Ooh, okay. The probably like one that exists that comes to mind is how many bras someone can unclip with their teeth.
That is, I'm sure it is. Is that a Guinness Book of World Records? And if so, how do you know that?
I used to read the Guinness Book of World Records, and I occasionally partake in adult films. So
I'm learning a lot about Shaq today. Maybe more than I need to.
You telling me you've never perused once in your life?
Let me just go to
really
the answer.
hill you're going to die on?
So the answer is the record was for the fastest time to tie 3 pairs of shoelaces into a bow, and we've got video of the record breaker courtesy of the Guinness Book of World Records. Check this out. Look at this. The guy's name is Alvaro Martin Mendieta. He's from Spain. He did 3 pairs, as you see right there, in 9.99 seconds. The previous record was his own record of 11.32 seconds that he set in 2019. I mean, look, all due respect to him, I think that if I put in the time and the effort, I could do that too, but I just don't want to. But what are your thoughts on this one?
You're bringing out the toxic side of me, Jimmy, because I don't want to say, if this guy is putting in the time and effort, and this is if this is the highlight of his life and his athletic career, who am I to sit here and tell him that it's a meaningless accomplishment? But dude, the fact that you said I have to beat my own record leads me to believe that you have enough time and enough drive on your hands to be doing something way more valuable with your time than tying shoelaces. Most of us do it every day, and I don't see it being as something that we need to get much more efficient at. He was so excited. Like, I feel bad joking on this guy. He felt so good about that. Who could possibly care? Who would wake up and say, you know what I really need to do? Best my time tying shoelaces.
He found something that he is technically better at than anybody. I guess that's how you look at it. Sean Ross Sapp always says...
Who's trying to beat it?
Sean always says that he always wanted to be the best at something. Sean Ross Sapp always says that. And so for him, wrestling journalism has kind of become the thing. But I'm with you. How many times have you heard of a story where you think to yourself, if that person applied that same effort that he applied into that thing, if he applied that into something constructive, he could do better in life maybe than where he's doing. Maybe this guy's a multi-millionaire and he's retired, and so he's just doing this for fun. I mean, I don't know.
I regularly tell some of my friends, if you spend half the time you do sabotaging yourself as to, I don't know, going to the gym, getting a job, you'd be great, dude.
Right.
I some of my dear friends live off of my and your hard-earned taxpayers' money, and they're so talented. I'm like, you could be contributing here, but
I'm with you. Okay, now this next question, I'm almost afraid to ask this one to you, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is there anything that you think that you can do faster than anybody else?
I made you laugh pretty quickly, so I think we should leave it there.
Anything I don't know, anything.
Faster than anyone.
Walking your dog. I don't know, anything.
Okay, now I know how you're gonna take it, and I understand how this sort of leans into a trend, but I just want you to put all that aside for one moment. I can put both my legs behind my head.
Really?
Easily. I can fit my fist in my mouth. As you can see, I got a big smile going on here.
Okay, let's see the fist in mouth. Let's see it.
Under no circumstance, Jimmy,
okay,
am I letting that get onto the internet.
Here's what we got to do. If any police officers ever see this, and if you're in the British Columbia area, I know that's broad, but if you're in the British Columbia area, if you see him in the evening time with crutches in the next seat next to him, then here's how you tell him he's going to get off without a ticket. Fist in mouth, all right? That's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to do. All right, final reminders, get in your super chats to get your question or statement read on the air, or go to kynchat.com, leave a contribution at any time, and we'll read your question or statement on the next one. It's going by fast, Shaq. Let's go with story number 3. Story number 3, reported by Canadian Running Magazine. Maybe you heard of this one because it's Canadian Running Magazine? I don't know. So there's a 50-year-old man out of China. He goes by the name Uncle Chen. He ran a marathon recently, and his performance went viral. He finished the race in 3 hours, 28 minutes. Wasn't a spectacular time. He finished 574th overall out of nearly 1,500 runners. So because his race time wasn't that spectacular, why did his performance go viral?
How old is he?
50.
Oh, only 50. Man, he must be short a limb. Like, he must be missing a leg, or maybe he was using a walker or a cane. He's not upright as the rest of the runners were, is my best guess here.
So he's an ape, basically, this guy. No, what happened was...
Wait, so was he using his front hands too?
No. So basically, he was chain smoking the entire race, and we got pics. Check this out. Look at this guy. If you can see, he's got one in his mouth there. So he apparently smoked an entire pack of cigarettes during that marathon, and it wasn't the first time that he's done this. In both 2018 and 2019, he participated in marathons while smoking the entire time. You know, the first thing I thought of when I saw these pictures, I bet the runners around him must have loved him. Must have loved him, Shaq.
Hey, I mean, throw this guy on a box of cigarettes. What a great advocate for smoking more. It's not effective. I mean, granted, he performed, 500 out of how many?
574 out of about 1,500 runners.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do bad considering fact that he's blowing his lungs into oblivion.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, this kind of falls in line with I don't know if he's trying to prove a point or if he's just needs the smokes, but I kind of put this in the same box as the shoelace tying guy. Like, is this really the accomplishment that you want to hang your head on? And how much competition do you really have?
You know what I always wonder, and you being in Canada, even though it gets colder in Toronto, but you probably have seen this. How many times have you seen somebody when it'll be like 20 below 0 Celsius and they're walking down the sidewalk smoking a cigarette?
Yeah, I mean,
shit drives me crazy, but I see it every winter. And I always wonder, so you're sucking in like freezing cold air, but you still feel the need to smoke a cigarette. Maybe this guy has like a similar mentality to that.
Certainly. I mean, to your point, you're already breathing in the bad stuff. So what's a little frigid organ destroying ice to go with this backup? Right?
Organ destroying ice. Organ destroying ice. So, have you ever participated in an athletic contest as an adult? Any kind of athletic competition as an adult?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was probably like 19 at the time, and I did one jujitsu tournament just
Really?
to sort of, yeah, get it under my belt. And that was fun. Although it wasn't fun. I did okay, but what I found is all the stuff that you're training and doing in class that you enjoy gets thrown out of the window, especially with the white belts, because everyone's so stiff and scared of losing that it's just a lot of waiting around for something to happen. And I have never, and they warned me, but after that first round, I couldn't uncurl my fingers because I gripped so tight onto the other
Really?
person's gi. Yeah, I was like this, and the whole time, instead of prepping for the next round, I was just trying to like gradually, I know what this looks like, I'm trying to gradually get my hands stretched out here. I swear I don't do this on purpose, Jimmy. It's just, it's part of my nature, I guess.
In a span of 25 minutes, we have learned stuff about Shaq, like how to get out of a potential ticket from a police officer. We've learned about an idea he had for a USB toy. We've learned. I've learned. So, do you still train jiu-jitsu now?
The pandemic kind of put that to a halt. I've been wanting to get back into it for quite a while. There's two things at play. One, it's just nice to have so much extra time. Two, there's so much like maintenance with like you got to make sure like you wash your gi after every class right away, hang it to dry somewhere, etc. Yeah. I mean, I can't say I've always been the best at that, but it's okay. The biggest thing, pandemic is viruses aside, it's really nice not being injured. And like my school was pretty good about keeping it low impact, but inevitably something gets caught and jammed. I've had knee surgery. I've hurt my shoulder, my arm. Had people's fingers bend the wrong way trying to like move around me. So it's nice not being in pain, but I really like the cardio because I can't just like run on a treadmill. It's too mundane for me. So when I head into my next like cutting season for our bachelorette party in the spring, I'm going to need to take up something. Maybe I'll go back to jiu-jitsu. Maybe I'll take up boxing because there's a lot more running and jump roping and hitting and pad work. It's not quite as, it's the jiu-jitsu. The issues is like, it's weird stuff. Like I've had my foot get caught in someone's robe and then kind of bend the wrong way. It's hardly ever someone actually hurting you intentionally or being too rough. You're just so entangled that something always kind of gets caught in a weird position. So I'm going to go back to something in the new year.
Interesting. So basically what you're saying is it's more fun watching MMA and watching somebody else get their limb torn off than potentially have it happen to you.
The activity is a lot of fun, but to your point, it's the pain and the misery that follows that isn't always worth the investment you're putting in.
Gotcha. Okay, let's go to story number 2, reported by WREG News, and there are some stereotypes in this one. So some of this stuff's right out of The Simpsons. So the fire chief in a place called Marked Tree, Arkansas. It's a town of about 2,200 people. He's a gentleman by the name of Alan Hicks. How appropriate. Alan Hicks. He was recently fired after less than 10 months on the job as fire chief. My question for you, Shaq, what did Alan Hicks do to get fired?
Ooh. He hired strippers to go up and down the fire pole.
Not a bad answer. So the mayor of the town claims that Mr. Hicks was fired for his conduct on Facebook. And here is Mr. Hicks in his own words talking to WREG News. We've got a soundbite. Look at this.
I was holding a chicken and it had chicken. That's the exact words it had on there.
There was more. I don't know. I guess, Joel, that's all he got. Oh, there's another video. The other video is, so he says he was fired in part for his conduct for holding up a chicken saying chicken shit. But there's more. He was also apparently fired for his inappropriate use of emojis on Facebook. And again, this is Mr. Hicks explaining in his own words.
They're talking about another Facebook post I posted, was giving the bird. It was supposed to be in the thumbs up.
I just find it funny, but that was the fire chief of Mark Tree. I find that awesome. And here's the thing. This wasn't the first time that he was fired as the fire chief of Mark Tree, Arkansas. He was the fire chief a few years ago, got fired then too, then they rehired him, and now he's saying, I'm gonna sue these fuckers, but I also want my job back. So it's all over the place. What do you think? Do you think holding a chicken saying chicken shit and then posting a middle finger emoji, do you think that those are grounds for termination if you're the fire chief of a town?
It seems excessive to me. I guess in a sense, maybe it's sort of a public figure. I don't know. Like, I don't know how that really affects the quality of his work or impacts negatively the people around him. So I don't know if it's grounds for firing. The IQ on the guy, though, I would take into question, and the obsession with the farm animals is a little too on the nose for me.
I mean, he is from small town Arkansas.
What else is there to do?
Yeah, he's got ample opportunity. And maybe
I'm just saying, based on what I've heard from friends who've come from like predominantly white small communities, you know, generally very like religious communities or communities that don't get exposed to a lot of other cultures. This seems like a very small discretion compared to some of the things I heard that go on in places like small town Arkansas. Like, if this is as bad as it gets, he's probably the best candidate for the job.
Yeah, maybe the only candidate for the job. I mean, who knows, you know? All right, big question for you on this, Shaq. Big question. Have you ever been fired from a job? And if so, what did you do?
Have I ever been fired from a job? Yes. Yes, I was fired from one job. I was working at a kind of an upscale catering place in Vancouver where they would they'd have these Bard on the Beach events. They basically throw on plays at the beach, and so these guys would cater a lot of the food for it. My girlfriend at the time got me the job. Her dad also worked there, and when we broke up, I noticed her dad went from, hey, come here, let me show you how to chop and plate these, to, hey, go clean the bathroom.
Oh.
And so I started no-showing that gig a couple of times, and that was the end of that. But let me tell you, I don't even remember the name of the place. You guys kind of sucked. I cannot tell you how many times I went, and that the dad wasn't even in charge, but I can't tell you the number of times I went to work, and I only worked there for like a month, and I saw people crying and yelling at each other. Like, I understand things get tense in like a restaurant setting where you've got quick turnovers, but they had all day to prep this catering. I don't know why it was such a high stakes, angry environment, but I guess it's the food business on whole.
I wonder if they were hired by the Fire Festival.
Possibly.
Kind of sounds like it, yeah.
The food was good. The food was great. I mean, I snuck a little bite here and there, but people.
So you stole food and you no-showed the job. This is what you're saying.
Who doesn't eat a little bit? Although I did work at a pizza place in a food court once, where the manager, the franchisee, would go home and sitting at home would watch you from a camera.
Wow.
Set to a TV, so I could only skimp so much cheese off the top before.
Wow, he did that in his spare time, basically?
She did that in her spare time, and she made it clear, like, she's like, just so you know, I'll be watching. Like,
wow.
really weird. I don't know what I expected from a food court pizza place, but I think I had a little bit more expectation for normalcy in the workplace.
I wonder if she was also practicing tying shoelaces really fast.
I clearly had the time for it, my dude.
Yeah, wow.
It did not stop me from skipping cheese off the top, but if more people would send, Jimmy, you brought it up, if more people would send me cheese baskets, I might not have to resort to such drastic measures.
Okay, note to everybody here, you want to get on Shaq's good side, cheese baskets.
Shout out to Ben the Bane Davis, the one person who has ever sent me a cheese basket.
All right, it is time for story number 1, posted on Twitter. I usually leave the spicy ones for last, Shaq. So here we go. There is a self-published author who goes by the name Chuck Tingle. And Chuck Tingle produces ebooks for Amazon about such subjects as horror and gay romance. Mm-hmm. Typically, the subject matter is very timely and it's in line with whatever is going on in the news at the time in their ebooks, so they can knock them out quick. They got a new book out. It's related to a current news topic. My question for you is, what do you think the current news topic is that Chuck Tingle has written a new ebook about?
Elon Musk purchases Twitter and turns it into an erotic fanfic haven.
I'm a little bit scared that you got that one right. Like maybe you're a subscriber to Chuck Tingle. So the latest one, the title of it is, and I'm going to read the whole thing, the physical manifestation of Twitter, because, liability, Twitter's rapid descent into chaos thanks to inept management from a man-baby edgelord pounds me in the butt. That is the title, and you see the cover on your screen right there. Chuck Tingle's biggest hits. Chuck Tingle's biggest hits on Amazon, they include Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and Scary Stories to Tingle Your Butt. Those are a couple of their biggest titles on Amazon.
That's pretty good.
So,
pretty good.
How many Chuck Tingle ebooks do you have on your Kindle, Shaq?
Can't say I have any, though I'd be lying if I said that my fiance hasn't sort of picked up a couple erotic horror-y fan books of late.
Really?
Weird thing. A DJ that I was planning on interviewing is actually name dropped in the book. Like the character turns on one of their songs on the radio. It's kind of an obscure DJ, so I'm desperately in hunt to that interview because I want to be the one to read the passage to them.
Fascinating. So there's like a real market for this shit. Like
I don't think she knew that there was a market for it or that she might be it, but apparently it exists.
Tell her go on Amazon, look up Chuck Tingle.
We'll do. Sorry to out you, fiance.
All right, I want to thank our guest, Shakiel Mahjouri. Shaq, tell the people what you're doing and where they can find you.
I am not manufacturing USB toys as much as I wish my life circumstances were different. What I am doing, and I'm sorry if this just got me fired. Actually, I'll say that, you know what? This is where I'll start. We'll start the lowest hanging fruit. Fightful Roundtable. Every month you can catch me over at Jimmy Van and Sean Ross App's Fightful, hosting a pro wrestling roundtable. We go for an hour live, usually the third or fourth Tuesday of every month, breaking down some of the biggest stories, getting reactions from panelists in the industry, people you're very familiar with. Beyond that, day to day, I'm covering a lot of MMA and a lot of pro wrestling for CBS Sports. Dropped interviews with Sheamus. We have one with Mia Yim coming out tomorrow. So you can check all that out at Shaq Wrestling on YouTube. MMA, Islam Makhachev, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is coming up. Shaq MMA on YouTube. Twitter is the best place to follow me. I see my handle right there. Thank you guys, at Shaq Fu. That's where to follow me if you want to chat, if you have any inquiries, if you want to retweet my stuff shamelessly for me. I'm always grateful. And yeah, here and there you might see some interviews on ET Canada, some interviews on EDM.com, but CBS Sports, Shaq Fu, Shaq Wrestling, Shaq MMA, those are the places to be.
There you go. That is called cross-promotional branding. Good for you. That's going to do it for KYN Live. Tune in next Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time for more silliness that's totally real. And until then, bye for now.